You ever wake up on a Saturday thinking it's just going to be you, a hot cup of coffee, and a little snowmobile ride to kick off the weekend? Then suddenly you're smack in the middle of a full-blown war with the HOA. Yeah, that's how my story starts. One minute I'm out carving fresh tracks behind my place. The next, there's Deborah Mitchell, board president of Pine Ridge Estates, waving a citation in my face like she's just hit the jackpot. "Mr. Foster, you see this?" she says, cheeks red as her lipstick, even with the Montana wind whipping through Whitefish at 15 degrees. She's bundled up so much in her white coat she looks like some angry Michelin man. Behind her, Linda Garrison and Tom Henderson are nodding along like dashboard bobbleheads back up for the enforcer. $200 for violating Section 17.3. Recreational vehicle tracks across common areas are strictly prohibited. I'm standing there, steam just about rising out of my ears as fast as it's coming off my coffee. Deborah, I rode behind my property. That's not a common area, that's open land. I keep my voice steady, but my patience is wearing thin. This is the third time she showed up this winter with some new complaint, and each one more bogus than the last. She digs through her massive purse, pulls out a plat map. Says right here that Field's community green space for aesthetic purposes. You tore it up with your reckless driving. I almost laugh. It's snow, Deborah. It'll melt. Tracks will be gone in a week. But she's not having it. Rules are rules, Mr. Foster. Fines effective immediately. Don't pay, we'll put a lien on your property. And then she gives me this smile, all teeth and satisfaction, like she actually enjoys this. Truth is, I moved to Pine Ridge Estates for the space, the views, the access to all the winter fun Montana has to offer. The land really is something else. My property backs up to National Forest. You can see Glacier National Park on a clear day. But Deborah's made it her mission to remind me paradise always comes with a catch. I tell her I'll contest the citation, snatch it from her hand. Nothing in the CC&Rs about snowmobiles on that field. She doesn't miss a beat. Check Addendum 7, passed last board meeting. All recreational vehicles banned from common areas. Vote was unanimous. Last board meeting. News to me. Didn't get any notice, I say, pulling out my phone. Nothing from the HOA in weeks. Not our problem if you don't check your email. She shrugs. Then they all march back to her Escalade parked right in front of my mailbox like she owns the whole street. Inside, I pour myself a stiff coffee and start combing through my pile of HOA docs. Sure enough, I find Addendum 7 dated just 2 weeks ago, a whole slew of new restrictions. Problem is, Montana law says they need to give at least 14 days notice for any meeting that votes on rule changes. I dig through my email, even check spam, nothing. Time to call Marcus, my real estate attorney. I explain the situation, send him the photos. He tells me straight, "You're in the right, Paul. They can't enforce rules they didn't properly notify you about. But fighting an HOA, not exactly a walk in the park. Sometimes it's easier to just pay and move on. Maybe so, but for me it's the principle. If I let Deborah get away with this, she'll just keep coming." Marcus drafts up a response letter citing the proper statutes, tells me to be careful. Board presidents like Deborah don't like being challenged. Let her try, I say, and spend the rest of the weekend learning more about HOA law than any sane person ought to know. Monday. I deliver that letter to Deborah's house, the biggest one in the neighborhood, of course. When she opens the door and realizes it's me, her expression sours like milk in the sun. "Just delivering this," I tell her, keeping things as polite as I can. She snaps, "Your attorney is wrong. Our procedures were followed to the letter." I call her bluff. "Then show me the email you sent, with delivery receipts." She glares, starts closing the door. "Under Montana law, you'll have to prove it in court." Her face goes pale, then angry red. That evening, Tom Henderson calls, sounding nervous. "Paul, maybe we just waive the fine, call it a warning." I say fine, but I want it in writing in confirmation that Addendum 7 wasn't properly adopted. He hesitates. "Gotta check with Deborah." I let him threaten a full audit of every board action for the past 2 years if this nonsense continues. An hour later, Deborah herself calls. Now she's really mad. "You think you're clever. Threatening legal action over a simple fine," I tell her straight. "You're abusing your position. If you keep this up, you might get removed from the board or worse." She goes off practically screaming that I don't respect authority. I point out I do when authority is exercised legally and fairly. She hangs up on me. Next morning, new citation taped to my door, this time $300 for my firewood not being screened from view. Problem is, my firewood faces nothing but forest. I document everything, call Marcus. She's retaliating. This is harassment. Time to escalate, he says. He tells me to file a complaint with the Montana Department of Commerce Real Estate Division, document every little thing. While I'm at it, I catch Deborah's husband and two buddies out joyriding snowmobiles on the same field I got fined for. Photos go straight into my growing evidence file. Next weekend, I take another ride myself. Let's see if they have the guts to fine everyone. Deborah's there waiting, phone out, filming me. You're in violation again, she says. I have video evidence. I show her the pictures of her husband doing the exact same thing. That's different, she says, not even blinking. Board members and families are exempt for oversight duties. I can't help it, I just laugh. He was joyriding same as me. She threatens me quiet. Ice cold, says I'm making an enemy of the wrong person. I tell her I'm not going anywhere. Days later, citation arrives for $500. Marcus files my complaint with the state. Deborah starts citing me for every little thing parking in my driveway. She claims my truck's a commercial vehicle because it's got a toolbox, garbage cans visible, even though it snowed and holiday lights up too long when half the neighborhood still has theirs up. I document it all. Marcus sends dispute letters. Then comes the bombshell emergency board meeting notice on my door. They're voting on whether to start foreclosure over unpaid fines totaling $2,000. Marcus tells me, go to that meeting, I'll come with you. So there we are in the log clubhouse, packed room, every seat full. Deborah tries to tell me my lawyer can't be there, but Marcus quotes the law right back at her. This meeting has to be open. She relents, but I can see her seething. The meeting drags on with board business. Then Deborah lays out her case. I'm a repeat violator, racking up fines, threatening legal action. Some folks nod along. Others look skeptical. Marcus stands up, lays out our evidence. Every citation is invalid. Rules not adopted properly. No resident notification, discriminatory enforcement. He's got the email records, proof that Deborah's crew was breaking the same rules with no penalties. Residents start piping up. I got fined for a wreath. They said my fence was 6 inches too tall, couldn't plant trees without permission. Turns out I'm not the only one. The board's falling apart. Tom Henderson moves to table the whole lean discussion until a review gets enough votes to override Deborah. She's furious, storms out. That night, my mailbox is smashed. Leave Pine Ridge spray painted on my garage. Deputy Martinez from the sheriff's office comes, takes a report. I install security cameras all over. A few nights later, camera catches Linda Garrison, board member, sneaking up my driveway at 2 a.m. with a can of spray paint. Floodlights scare her off. I've got her license plate, her face, the works. She's arrested. Board votes to remove Deborah and Linda, apologizes, rescinds all my citations, promises a full rule review. You'd think it ends there, right? Nope. Next big snow. HOA's private plow can't keep up. I've got a plow blade on my truck, so I start clearing neighbors' driveways. Community finally feels like, well, a community. Until Jerry, my neighbor, calls, Paul, you gotta see this, bring your plow. I roll up to the entrance road, only way in or out. And there's Deborah blocking both lanes with her Escalade, refusing to move till she gets reinstated. Whole neighborhood's backed up, kids can't get to school, people can't get to work. I get an idea. Drop my plow blade, start building a wall of snow behind her car. Takes 20 minutes, and by the end, her Escalade's boxed in by an 8-foot snowbank. She's screaming, calling the sheriff. Deputies show up, take one look, tell Deborah she's the one breaking the law. Tow truck digs her out for $400. Word spreads like wildfire. HOA president trapped in her own snowbank becomes instant legend. State investigation wraps up, finds Pine Ridge HOA guilty of all kinds of procedural violations. Deborah gets fined personally, new board elections are called, and Linda, caught red-handed, admits Deborah put her up to the vandalism. Deborah's arrested, tried, convicted for conspiracy to commit property damage. Jury doesn't need long. She gets 60 days in jail, probation, restitution. Her husband lists the house for sale. New board comes in. Real neighbors. Real transparency, real rules. They toss out all the junk. Deborah pushed through, host a snowmobile day for everyone. And for the first time since I moved here, Pine Ridge Estates feels like a place I actually want to live. That $200 citation kicked off a year of insanity, a war of egos, rule books, and snowbanks. But the lesson's simple. Some folks let power go to their heads. They forget HOAs are supposed to serve, not control. Deborah built her own trap, one citation at a time, till it all collapsed. Karma's funny that way. It doesn't always come fast, but it comes hard. I stand on my deck watching the sunset bleed over the mountains, thinking about all we've been through. Sometimes it only takes one person to say enough, one stubborn refusal to back down. The community comes together. The bullies lose. And yeah, maybe you got to build a snow wall behind an Escalade to get there, but it's worth it. So here's my question for you. When does standing your ground become worth all the trouble? Where's the line between keeping the peace and letting people walk all over you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me your HOA nightmares, or just let me know if you've ever had to out-stubborn a bully. Because at the end of the day, the only way communities get better is when folks decide they're worth fighting for. And that's a lesson and a ride I won't soon forget.